Morning, everyone. Thanks for joining us this morning. Appreciate your attendance here on a Thursday. We're glad we could be joined by Gabriel this morning. He's our regional representative from EquiTrust. Got some really good stuff we'll be just talking about here this morning with kind of where things are moving in the market right now. We're seeing really variance on rate changes lately. We got some companies raising rates. We got some companies lowering rates. It's kind of really unstable, kind of the same in the stock market right now. You see one day the market falls 1,000 points, the next day it goes up 500. This year we're kind of down for the year in the market. We'll see how that plays out here moving in through 2026. A lot of uncertainty right now out there with everything going on in that space. We'll see how it plays going forward. Anything that you have questions on this meeting, definitely get those asked. We'll get those answered as we go along in today's webinar. I know that EquiTrust has been my go-to the last number of years on both Roth conversions and stretch contracts. I know they've got some really good solutions on both sides, and we're very glad that we can learn more kind of on the EquiTrust sideline of what they specialize in based on their programs, so on and so forth. But we definitely look forward to a good year in that space. Definitely a really strong program there. And we'll go ahead and keep things moving here. We do have our new producer perks. We have a really good block of programs you can qualify for, including seminar systems, radio shows. We have a iPad based on the $100,000 level. We have gift cards. You can qualify for cash. Kind of depends what you have interest in pursuing, but definitely a solid combination there. We also offer a referral program. You can get referral dollars based on referrals to IAMS, and really a really good program we put together for incentives that you earn based on your referrals. You get these quarterly. I know I have agents that call me every quarter asking what their check's going to be for the last quarter, and they're really happy when they get those checks in. We also have our marketing reimbursement program. You get dollars back for marketing based on your production. We put $100 for every $100,000 of index annuity premium in your bank. We also do $200 for every $100,000 of single premium life. And we also do $200 for every $10,000 of target premium. So good way to build up a nice account for your production. And it's always good to have, someone else picking up the dollars based on those programs there. We have a great back office support here, team at IAMS. I know we've got a really good group of people that work in that space, and great on the new business side. We also have really good individuals that participate on contracting. Good way for you to get, contracted with a number of companies at one time if you wish. With one set of contracts, we use Assurance Bay as our contracting platform. Really good programs we put together on that side of it. Of course, we've got a great marketing department here. This is Matt Tooher. I'm a marketing specialist on the annuity end at IAMS. We've got some great experience in that space, some great quality individuals that can help you out when you're working in that annuity market, life market. If you want long-term care quotes, whatever you may need, we can definitely help you out with all sides of that business. We have a website specific to IAMS. You can pull down information on carriers. You can look at the latest interest rates. You can pull off supplies. You can get a lot of good information right there based on your needs right off our website. But we've got a great sales resource library if you want to pull up some sales ideas on either the life side or the annuity side. Be glad to help you out on that area. And always a pleasure to help you out with, any casework you may have and go about it that way. Again, this is Matt Tooher with IAMS. I've been here for over 20 years in the annuity market with IAMS, working with agents many years, and have great experience on both life insurance and annuities, but I'm an annuity specialist here. And I definitely have a lot of good background if you have questions on, you know, Roth conversions, inherited IRAs, who's going to offer the best rates at a specific, period of time, maybe the best 5-year, 10-year rates. You get all that stuff on our website too. That can definitely lead you the way to getting information quickly and easily. A lot of companies have gone to e-applications. We do see a lot of business coming in now. About 60% of our business to 70% comes on an e-apps now. We use the Firelight/Luma system. The reason we do that is when you fill out an application on Firelight, it automatically creates on our CRM a record, and it's much easier for us to follow up on that based on Luma, and just really helps the whole process moving forward. Of course, we have the same thing available on the life side, and they can help you out on that end also on those details. Otherwise, we have a great creative team here. I know they can help you out with doing brochures, updating your company logos, maybe update your company colors. Maybe you have a website you developed 10 to 15 years ago, haven't really done much upgrading on that. They can help you out with the upgrades on that side of it. They can really do a lot for you based on that. So definitely keep that in mind. And it's really a easy group to work with on the creative side. I know that if you're actively doing business through IAMS, a lot of our services are free. Of course, if you're not doing business with us at this point and want them to develop a website, there is a cost for that. And we do have costs for other creative items that you would utilize based on that. We can do a marketing analysis with you and kind of figure out right now where you stand in the market on advertising. Your market focus. Are you focused on strictly annuities? Are you doing Medicare? Are you doing long-term care? Are you doing property and casualty? They can really focus in on what you're doing and make sure that you're getting all that you're asking for based on that. So definitely take a few minutes and get a hold of our creative team, talk to your marketing specialist here at IAMS. They'd be glad to get you in touch with our expert on that end of it and be able to take care of that also. Also keep in mind, we also have our wealth management side of IAMS. It's on the security side. We have a great group of individuals on that side of the business. They can help you with your Series 65. They can help you out with, different platforms of investments. I mean, it's always good to have multiple arrows in your quiver. If you got, a client that likes to have their money in the market, but also likes to have a block of money in the safety side of the market. Being available on both sides is key. You hate to, give someone down the street a name of one of your clients, and all of a sudden you lose that client down the road because they're able to handle more sides of their business than you can. You want to try to keep your hands in as much sides of the business as you can, and that way you can handle all their needs. So I think having a securities license is key right now. It used to be we had about 10% of our agents in our top 50 that had securities licenses. Now it's like 75%. So we've seen a big swing towards the security side. It's a great way to develop recurring income where you're getting paid every month on that block of securities business. You're doing the insurance side for safety. Maybe you want to set them up on trails. Maybe you want to, lump sum of cash based on those, that business. You do have the options on both sides. We also do our life and annuity academies. We have one coming up in April. We have another one coming up in May. And we bring agents into our office here in Omaha. We have some great presenters. We probably have about 15 different presenters will present during the 3-day period. You typically fly in on a Wednesday or drive in on a Wednesday. The meeting starts Wednesday evening, goes all day Thursday, goes Friday till noon. Then we take you back to the airport, that early afternoon. You fly out in the afternoon. You're home by Friday evening. Otherwise, if you're driving, of course, you would leave afternoon and drive home. But a lot of good stuff we cover during these meetings. I know we see a lot of increased production from the agents that do attend these. Really good results based on post academy business. We see 20, 30, 40% increases in business post academy just because you pick up good sales techniques, you pick up good closing techniques. I mean, you'll pick up a lot of really good stuff based on that attendance. So if you do have interest in attending one of our meetings, we'll be giving everyone a call after this meeting. I'll put you on the list as an interested party and go from there. We also have interest, actually have presence on different social network platforms, Facebook, LinkedIn, probably another one or two out there I'm not totally familiar with, but we do have good presence on those. Our creative team does some great jobs on helping agents utilize Facebook, utilize LinkedIn to get in front of more clients, and a good way to, of course, increase your business and increase your availability out there in that social media platform. Once again, we are happy that we could have Andrew on with us this morning. And I'm going to go ahead and get Andrew on here and go ahead.
Perfect. Can you hear me, Matt?
You started. We can hear you, Andrew. Sorry about the little late start. I got a little distracted on a case I was working on and jumped on here at the last possible moment, which I got us on board here. Got your screen up on mine. Nothing's been activated yet on your end, so.
Perfect. Give me one moment here, and I'll share my screen.
You got it. Appreciate your attendance, Andrew. Andrew's been with EquiTrust for a few years, I believe, and and has been really active in the marketing side of EquiTrust and does a great job for us here at IAMS. He helps them with case development, helps with any problems that may arise, which doesn't happen very often, but also helps with some marketing ideas, helping with what the best plans are for specific cases. So he's a great help on that side of the need. So glad that we could join us here this morning. Andrew, you got your partial tax conversion up, so let's go ahead and get things moving.
Awesome. Well, thank you for having me on today, Matt. So Matt and I were discussing, what sets us apart here at EquiTrust, and I would say that our partial tax conversion program is definitely something that sets us apart. Also, that we accept inherited IRA. So that's two topics that we'll be going over today in regards to just kind of sharing with you how the partial tax conversion, which would be converting, like a IRA to Roth IRA, or like an inherited IRA to a non-qualified account or something to that extent. But, I would say that, we are only one of a few carriers of any that do this partial tax conversion where it's one account that's mirrored, and you don't have to incur surrender charges, with just 10% penalty-free withdrawals out of accounts at other carriers. So we'll go over that a little bit more here in depth and kind of explain to you where this can fit and what products and different things like that with a partial tax conversion. As you can see here, it's very flexible, a systematic approach to convert, whether it's a traditional SEP simpler IRA to a Roth IRA, or an inherited IRA to a non-qualified contract. PTC is only available on any qualified enforced EquiTrust deferred annuity.
And I think EquiTrust is the only company that does the inherited contracts to non-qualifieds, where you can actually, instead of getting a check sent out to yourself as an RMD, they would just go ahead and transition that over to the non-qualified side into the end of the year, send that 1099 out, based on the amount you converted that year to non-qualified, and move forward. That makes it easier for clients that don't want to necessarily get the money. They want to keep it invested, especially if they're getting good returns. And they want to continue those tax deferred returns. This is a great way to do that.
Yeah, I agree 100% there. And with the partial tax conversion, whether it's going to be IRA to Roth or inherited IRA to non-qualified, especially with IRA to Roth IRA, obviously you can see you're systematically converting money over time provides the clients more control over their taxes when they're paid. Obviously, pay lesser taxes on partial conversions versus paying the income taxes on a full Roth conversion for your retirement income. The partial tax conversion, its flexibility puts the owner in the driver's seat. Like I said, the owner determines when and how much money is converted and how to set up the conversion on a systematic basis. They can start and stop as they wish. So we do have a form that I will show here at the end of some slides here. And Matt probably has it too as well, but it is definitely something that gives you a lot of flexibility from the standpoint of how much money you put in or the amount of years you want to do or whatever it may be, just to accommodate to the client's taxes as best as it needs.
Yeah, a lot of companies, you have to set it up kind of on, you have to do the same amount every year. You don't have neither flexibility. And a lot of companies, when you convert, they actually issue a new policy every time you
Right.
convert something. So
Yep.
instead of having, two account numbers with kind of the same policy, you'd have 10 policies
Yep.
separate. And
Exactly.
that's really a huge problem for a lot of clients. They don't want to have 10 policies. They want to have 1, 2 max, and EquiTrust will definitely fulfill that need.
Right. So here's kind of some of the different flexibilities that we just talked about. You can just do a one-time partial conversion if you want, or you don't have to set them up systematically. You can just do it whenever you want each year by filling out the form. If you want to just do it one time each year, you can do that. Or you can fill out the form where it does it automatically for you, where it says systematic partial conversion on a specified dollar amount or a systematic conversion over a number of years. And as you can see here, like what Matt said, at other carriers, you're going to have, 10% penalty free. You're going to open up a numerous number of contracts. Here it's just a mirrored contract. So, you bring in an IRA, and it's going to have the same effective date, client roles, agent count allocations, credit rates, riders, and everything. The only thing different to this contract is it's going to have a different contract number. That's it. And obviously, as you can see here, money moves from the original contract to the mirrored one. And when the value of the original contract, the IRA is depleted, the original contract then would be closed. So like we talked about, if you do a systematic over a number of years or a systematic dollar amount, whatever it may be, you're no incurring surrender charges, nothing whatsoever. So that just makes it very seamless to be able to move this money over however the client would like to.
Do you see many people, Andrew, setting it up on a systematic basis where they're doing a certain dollar amount or doing a certain percentage, say for the next 5 years, 10 years? You see more of that, or you see more of like, I'm going to do $2,000 this year, 10,000 next year? Which kind of side do you see more
I
done?
don't know. It just really depends, honestly, Matt. I mean, it depends on
Mm-hmm.
the client's scenario and tax consequences at the
Right.
end of the day. I think some people like to set it, forget it, and some people like more control.
Sure.
So that's kind of why we allow that the one time, if they want to be able to do, like you said, 2,000 one year and then 10,000 the
Right.
next, we'll allow that,
Yeah.
so
And if
um,
they do start it systematically, do you allow them to change that? Say they can stop the systematic and go
they
to a
they could, yep.
annual. Yep.
Yep,
Good.
yep. They could stop it and definitely do that obviously after if it's coming up or whatever. But yeah, definitely be able to do that. Yep,
Okay.
exactly. Um, Obviously, like we talked about, advantages of why, converting over time, your client has more control over taxes. They pay lesser taxes on partial conversion amounts, based upon the adjusted gross income at the end of the year for your tax purposes. The client determines when or how much. Once again, you can do one-time partial tax conversion allowed per contract year, and then paying the taxes now conversion amounts while the client can be in a lower tax bracket. The nice thing about this is that we can withhold taxes for this contract. So depending on how much they want to withhold, whether it's 10 or 20%, They don't have to withhold any if they don't want to, and that's always might be a better option too, just because obviously then you're not taking money out of your principal, so you can have more to grow. So, if they have it in, any additional money sitting on the sidelines that they can pay those taxes at the end of the year, that's always a good thing too. But however, we do have the option of they pay the taxes and then we send it to the IRS as well for the convenience of that.
I always tell people that, if they have to use money internally to do the conversion, it may not be the best option. I always, as you said, use other dollars to pay those taxes.
Right, correct. So advantages, obviously, of a Roth IRA, is potential tax-free growth, tax-free distributions after 59 and a half, no required minimum distributions, and then non-taxable income for beneficiaries. Great opportunities where you're wanting to do some legacy planning, where you may put some money into an accumulation index annuity, and where you just kind of want to set it and forget it at the end of the day, and then if you pass away and the primary beneficiary gets it, then it's obviously tax-free for them going forward. So that's always a great legacy play when it comes to Roth IRAs, or obviously if you want to take whether it's an accumulation product, or we've seen a lot of people and great success with our income products too, where they're converting an IRA into a Roth IRA and then they receive lifetime income tax-free. So that's great opportunities there as well. Here's an example of converting a PTC to a Roth over 5 years. As you can see, you're going down, basically converting. You've got $100,000, 3% interest rate, tax bracket of 22%, and they're just converting. It looks like they're converting, over, like I said, 5 years. It's not $20,000 over the next 5 years. It's just doing it over the next 5 years, and that's how it comes up after it's been converted with the amounts that they do have to offer. And then obviously it's withholding taxes, so you can see that. So it's pre-tax and then taxes withheld, and then the after tax to convert. Excuse me. And then you can see the mirror contract over here, the beginning value, and then the ending value of how it's performed. You can see here at the end value is 90,423, which is still great, right? At the end of the day, because obviously that's all tax free now. But like we were talking about, if you didn't want to withhold taxes from this, that would be the keys, because then you would have more substantial benefit here amount, if you didn't withhold the taxes within the actual contract and taking out of the principal. But at the end of the day, I think too, we do have some products, and this is just an example. This doesn't have a bonus on it. A lot of those bonus accumulation products can offset those surrender charges, or not surrender charges, excuse me, can offset those taxes as well. So if you've got, say almost over $24,000 in taxes here, you're looking at, a bonus, say a bonus, we have a market edge product. It's got a 23% bonus. So that could definitely offset that. So then you're sitting back even, or even more, depending on the performance of the indexes and how they've done, is always a key way to look at that too. So bonus products are definitely something that people have been using just to really, like you said, offset those taxes for sure.
And the good thing about that market edge plan, it also offers bonuses like the end of the first year, into the second, into the third, where, the amount you converted to a Roth is going to get that bonus in that,
Right.
the extra account. So you're going to get bonuses on those conversions, and plus get bonuses on your existing, IRA. So it really is a great feature. I like that plan a lot for Roth conversions, doing that, 11% up front, 4% bonuses the next 3 years. Really a good combination to build up that Roth account value.
Right. And now here's an example of just showing over 10 years. So it kind of gives you an idea of that as well.
That interest rate at 3 is obviously pretty low. I mean, with some of the cap rates now, you can get on, some of these plans that have caps in the 8 to 9% range.
Yep.
And
Yep.
you're going to be able to probably at least double that interest rate up to 6.5,
Yep.
based on your compounding everything on those 9% cap rates.
Exactly. So, yep. No, it's just gives you a visual of how it works, and definitely, like I said, it's something that the flexibility is huge there on how you want to just kind of cater your taxes and how they want to, because one year, depending on the person, if they have a sales job, they make a lot, you know, um, they don't have to convert as much. If they want to just do one partial tax conversion each year, they can do less taxes converting, or less amount over that period of time. So definitely is a great opportunity there. What are the tax implications? It's, it just generates a 1099. The partial tax conversion capture shows the amount of taxes withheld if applicable. And then also the Roth portion will be at the end of May. For the Roth portion, showing the actual amount moving into a Roth, the contract after the taxes have been withheld. So now we're going to go into a little bit of the inherited IRA and what we accept for inherited IRA business. A great opportunity there. Like I said before, with our partial tax conversion, you can do, when you bring in an inherited IRA, if you want to transfer that over into a non-qualified account, great opportunities there too. So that way it's in the client's name now, and not in the inherited IRA's title, where it's inherited IRA for the deceased. It's great opportunities just to have the more flexibility and have more ownership of the contract for that now. So once again, yes, we do accept them, inherited and stretch IRAs. Here's an example of what we classify, because the IRS code doesn't differentiate between stretch and inherited. So as you can see, your EquiTrust refers to an IRA passed onto an eligible beneficiary as an inherited IRA, and an IRA passed to an eligible beneficiary as a stretch IRA. Here's the types of beneficiaries again. Eligible designated beneficiary, stretch, spouse of deceased IRA owner, disabled person, chronically ill person, or an individual no more than 10 years younger than the deceased owner. And then ineligible is anyone who doesn't meet those four categories above. All right, so as far as talking about the inherited IRA and the Secure Act before and post Secure Act, we'll kind of go over some scenarios here and kind of give you, what the difference is. The owner died prior to January 1st, the stretch IRA is available for the beneficiary. In most cases, this is a non-spouse beneficiary, as a spouse beneficiary would likely do a spousal continuation IRA. The beneficiary is required to take distributions from IRA at the rate based upon the beneficiary's single life expectancy. So if there was, they passed away, it's going to be based upon the RMD of a IRS life expectancy chart that they're going to have to take based upon their age at that time. Secure Act, if the owner died on or after January 1st of 2020, eligible beneficiaries can stretch the IRA now. No changes with the Secure Act. Ineligible beneficiaries may pay taxes on all funds in the IRA within 10 years of the original contract owner's death. But then starting in 2023, if the deceased IRA owner had begun requiring distributions before the death, the ineligible designated beneficiary must continue taking RMDs based upon the longer of the original RMD calculation or beneficiary's single life expectancy calculation. So it's just kind of giving you some definitions of the, before and after Secure Act. And if the original owner died prior to January 1st of 2020, the original beneficiary can maintain the stretch status as they've already established. Here are the available products available for the stretch IRA eligible beneficiaries. All EquiTrust deferred annuities, excluding bridge. So that would include the income riders available. So that's a huge play there. Most carriers don't allow inherited IRAs, or if they even allow inherited IRAs, but especially inherited IRAs and income products. Premium bonus FIAs, that's a huge one. I know Matt loves that one as well, so do I. There's not, once again, if there's any carriers out there that are offering inherited IRAs, maybe few in between that offer a bonus, because a lot of them will restrict you and only allow you to go into like a 5 or 7 year contract because of the 10-year rule. With us, there is no restriction to that. They can be in a 10-year product, they could be in a 14-year product. We have no restriction on that.
And the key is at the end of the time period, they say at the end of the 10-year period, the client needs to take their money out. EquiTrust will automatically send a 1099 out for the amount that has not been converted to a non-qualified account.
Correct.
And at that point, convert it to a non-qualified account, send a 1099 at the end of the year to the client that states exactly what they converted there at the end. And that way the client knows that now they have a non-qualified account that's going to be growing tax deferred, and they no longer have to take out RMDs at that point.
Yep, exactly. And that's something too, if you don't want to do like a partial tax conversion and do the forms inherited IRA to non-qualified, that's another way is basically at the end of the day, once the 10 years is up, or if let's say they had 5 years done at another company and now they have 5 years here, then we're just going to force them out, not force them out, but force them to pay taxes, put them into a non-qualified, and they're able to stay in the same product within there, but they just have to pay the taxes on it for those at the end of that 10th year there.
And that's where like a bonus plan really comes into play. So say that they move money, after being somewhere else for 5 years, maybe they were in a 5-year contract and they moved to EquiTrust, and EquiTrust can give them, 11% bonus or a 15% bonus right now based on that market power. Then clients can be, miles ahead, and maybe they were stuck in really low interest rates where they were, and EquiTrust is going to have a much better, growing opportunity for them based on higher rates.
Right. So on the inherited IRA, we once again will accept all products except for the confidence income. We do allow the market power now, so that one you can race out. So it's just the confidence income and bridge that we don't allow, because bridge is for non-qualified only, and then confidence income is a SPIA, so we don't allow that on for inherited IRAs. And then once again, the income benefit rider is available. Here's the resources I was talking about before. The partial tax conversion form Matt probably will have, and then also these resources Matt will have as well. These are great resources. The first one really goes into the deep dive of all the rules and regulations, and then this brochure kind of is a little shorter. It just gives you really an idea of visualization of how it works and whatnot. They put some kind of studies in there. I would say studies, but like numbers and showing people's numbers and things, how they work as far as inherited IRAs and how they're switched over. So great two pieces there. And then obviously the inherited IRA stretch form that would need to be filled out for the client. Excuse me. Getting started on an inherited IRA stretch sale application, the owner entitlement, very standard across the industry, just Jane Doe, beneficiary of Jimmy Doe, deceased. And then the annuitant's the actual beneficiary, whether it's eligible or ineligible. And then it's just section C, tax qualification of an inherited IRA, stretch IRAs. And then the inherited IRA stretch form that you'll need to fill out as well, along with the application and every other form that you would need to fill out as well. And then once it'll show on there, you need to put based on the date of the original death of the owner, determination between the inherited or the stretch will be made. And then the date of the death of the original owner. And then why EquiTrust? Clients have the flexibility to decide the timing and the amount of each conversion within that 10-year period, which once again is is huge. The ability to transfer inherited IRAs to a bonus fixed index annuity, like we talked about, to help offset taxes. The ability to turn an inherited IRA into guaranteed income for life, like we talked about. There's not too many other carriers out there that allow it, or if any. And then we also handle the tax withholding for your clients. So that's a huge win there that clients don't want to have to deal with if they don't want to during tax season. And then no multiple contracts like we talked about before. Many carriers will have those multiple contracts that you have, and all the conversions go into the same one mirrored contract for enhanced simplicity. So that's really all I have today. Any questions that anybody has, Matt, or anything I can answer?
Oh, let me take a look here. Well, one thing to keep in mind also is we're kind of in that transition period right now where, a lot of your elderly people, may have, got those pensions when they kind of first started working, but then they kind of transitioned into 401ks because 401ks really started popping up like in the early 80s and late 70s, and it kind of really transitioned where pensions were really kind of like falling off the books with these companies. Just got too expensive to fund these pensions, and they all started moving to 401ks. And right now we're really starting to see the kind of initial wave of people that originally got into 401ks starting to pass away, where they've got these big balances, and really didn't see that in the past. And most people in the last 20 years that were retiring, most of them had pensions and they didn't really have a lot of money on the side. Whereas now, the people that are retiring have these big 401ks. They don't have pensions. They don't have that extra income on the pension side. They're relying on Social Security, and they need to enhance those incomes by using income riders on these accounts and taking out free withdrawals. But you're seeing a lot bigger balances being forwarded on to beneficiaries now that just didn't happen in the past, and that's where these stretch plans come into play, where people are passing away with bigger chunks of money. I mean, if you look at the average person when they pass, has probably a couple $100,000 in IRAs now. This is kind of the beginning, and 5 years, 10 years on the road, you can see that an average of 200,000 is going to become an average of 500,000 they have in 401ks.
Yep.
So we're kind of right in the beginning of that transition stage between pensions and 401ks. And there's going to be a lot more needs for these, Roth conversions, and also for the, inherited IRA situations where people are just passing with way more money now than they've ever had. And that's especially when you've seen the big run in the market, the last 5-7 years, the market's been racing at 20% per year. And, people that had, 401ks that had balances in the $100,000 to $200,000 range, 7 years ago, all of a sudden that's worth 500, 600,000 in 5 years. I mean, it's just grown dramatically, and we do expect, we'll have maybe a down year here and there, but they're expecting some more, really big gains in the market. So we'll see how that plays out.
Yep. No, I totally agree. And yeah, it definitely is,
Yep.
$84 trillion are going to be passing over here sooner than later. So definitely an opportunity to bring it to EquiTrust, and we'll take them.
Yeah, a question did come up about rolling pension dollars over. I mean, it really comes down to the third party that has a pension. I know a lot of pensions, they do not give you the chance to roll money out of them, but there are some that do.
Yep.
So as long as the provider of the pension allows a lump sum payout, then yes, you can roll that into an IRA, and then you can roll it, from an IRA into a Roth IRA.
Right.
But just it really depends on, a lot of your federal employees, your state employees, they do not allow clients to roll out the lump sums. It has to be paid out as a lifetime income. So
it
just really depends on the companies, and there's just so few pensions that are still out there. I mean, there's still a few out there right now, but 10 years from now, there's going to be basically none that are out there still in the marketplace.
Yep. Exactly. So.
Yep.
Well, awesome.
Well, appreciate your time, Andrew. Thanks for
Yeah,
the reminder email. It got me right off the phone and into the meeting here, but
not a problem.
appreciate that. Big game this tonight between the Iowa Hawkeyes and the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
There we go.
We'll see how that plays out.
Go Hawks.
I know you're a big Hawks guy. Go Huskers. We'll little bitter rivalry going here. I'm surprised you even joined me this morning, based on that, but we'll keep it going here. But good luck,
stuff.
and otherwise appreciate everyone being on today. Everyone enjoy the weekend. Anything you need from us, I'll be contacting everyone that attended today, and we look forward to a really good next 3 months. So everyone have a great week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thanks, Matt. Have a good one.
Yep.